Okay, here we go. Here is the title here. So write this down, copy this down. Remember, don't just watch this video. You're copying everything down, you're taking the notes, right? Here we go. How to find all 6 trigonometric, which we say trig, right? We just say short trig, but it's how to find all 6 trigonometric. Sometimes they'll say ratios or functions, but they're meaning the same thing. I'll write functions for today. But it's the same thing as ratios. How to find all 6 trigonometric functions, and here's the condition of a given point. Now, what's going to start happening now is we're going to start plotting these points on a coordinate axis. So something that I just want you to make sure about that you understand, right? A coordinate axis is like this, an XY plane. Okay, so the first thing I just want to make sure that you understand is you have to watch out which quadrant you're in. So for example, just do a quick little XY axis here. Try your best there. Okay. If I pick the point 8 on the x and 5 on the y. 8 on the x and 5 on the y is right here. Okay? And what's going to happen with this point is you're going to go off the center. And remember, for us to get trig functions or trig ratios, we need a triangle. You don't have a triangle, they're giving you a point only. So what you're going to do when they give you this coordinate of this point, you're going to create a triangle. You're going to create the triangle from here. From the center to that line. And then you always drop it down to the x-axis, always. And this will be the triangle that's created for this point. Now it's kind of not really there, right? Because it's just an imaginary triangle. But we need this angle. It's always a central angle. So you're going to what? Plot point. You're going to draw the triangle. Right, these are the steps here. Kind of putting this down with steps, right? Steps. You're going to plot the point. You got to visualize this. It's visual. This is geometry and it's trigonometry. It's visual. You got to see it and picture it out. And then you're going to label the angle, right? Remember, there's 2 complementary angles here. Don't ever go this way and draw your triangle this way. So then you're going to label the angle. And this angle is called theta. You know, it looks like a 0. Theta. It's a Greek letter actually. It's not like X, but it's the symbol for the angle. Theta. All right. So with the point, I'll be able to plot it. Once I plot it, you're going to draw the line here, this hypotenuse side from the center, from the origin to there. And then you're going to drop down always to the x-axis, okay? And then this point, remember, this point is giving you your x. You went this way, x, and then you went up this way. So really, this is it's given 2 sides. So then what sides do you have? Well, you have 8, right? Because x is 8. You went 8 this way, and you went positive 5 this way. And see, you're almost done. We can't use trigonometry because we don't have a measure of an angle. See, we don't know it. It's unknown. So how do you find the third side? Pythagorean theorem, right? You got to find this third side, which we're not going to do right now, but you should know if you have two, to find the third, you use Pythagorean theorem. All right, so, ooh, that's an ugly question mark. You need to find that third side with Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so you label the angle, you label the two sides. From your coordinate, you got your two sides. And then you're going to obviously, like I said here, step 5, use the Pythagorean theorem to find, well, obviously, if this is x and y, the one that you're always going to find is the hypotenuse, right? Okay, we got that? Okay, so that's not really new. But what I did wanted to show you is this. Let me go back to this same one. And then obviously once you find, once you're here and once you find this third side, which is going to be 64 plus 25 is 89. Is that what that is? Because, I squared, I'm doing it in my head. It's 89. It'll be like the square root of 89. And once you have that, once you use the Pythagorean theorem and you find this one, right, it'll be like this. I think it's the square root of 89. 64 plus 25. I think it's good, right? 5, 8. And once you have all three sides, then you can find from there, once you find this hypotenuse, then the last step is, all the parts are there. You got it. Now you find all 6 trig functions. Find all 6 trigonometric functions, which we know is, right, we're going to do sine of the angle, cosine of the angle. Find these 3 first. And when you get these 3, you should know how to pair them up and find what? Cosecant of the angle, secant, and cotangent. There's 6. You find these 3, then you know these are the 3, and then let's say you answer it. But before I go there, let me just explain something to you. Let me use this same, so this is how you're going to do it, right? Let me go back to this 8, 5 right here like this. See, it was here, right? This was 8, 5. Like that. The only thing you have to watch out for, again, remember this triangle is not really there. The only thing that's really actually there is this. Honestly, it's only the point that's there. This is all really imaginary, right? This is all imaginary. But what I was going to tell you is, if I go over here and I tell you negative 8, 5, if I go over here and I tell you negative 8, 5, right? Now I'm going to go this way, 8, but it's on this side in quadrant 2. Your x coordinate is a negative. And this is still 5, right? Oy. I should draw like little. When you label these sides, you can't put positive 8, positive 5, because here, this side, again, remember it's imaginary, but because it's in quadrant 2, this is what? Negative 8. You have to put negative 8 because it's in this side of the quadrant. And this is positive 5. Your hypotenuse, no matter what, will always be positive. But watch how you label this side. If it's a negative 8, you got to put negative 8. right? If you're over here and you go this way, what's this point going to be if I do the same thing? This point will be -8 and -5. So now this triangle here well, again, this one is still -8 right here. But now this one is what? See? Is -5. And those, when it has a negative, you have to put them in your ratio, right? That's why you have some positive and some negative ones. Okay. So, let's do one real quick over here. I think one example is fine. Number one, again, they're just going to give you a point. So what if I tell you 5, -12. Find all 6 trigonometric functions, right? This is what we're doing, finding all the 6 trigonometric functions of this given point. Find all 6 trig functions for this point. Okay, well, again, you got to sketch this out. You got to visualize it, okay? Here we go. So 5, -12 is in which quadrant? +5 is 5. 5 on the x and -12 over here. Well, that's over here in this point is over here in quadrant what, right? If you were to plot this 5, -12 is right here. That's the point, 5, -12. That's the only thing that's true, this point. But what you have to do, because I need a triangle to do these ratios, is you're going to drop this down and go like this, always drop it to the x-axis, don't go across to the y-axis. And then I'm gonna imagine the triangle. I need to see a triangle here, right? Where this side is what? +5, and this side is what? -12. Okay? And your angle is inside the triangle, don't ever use the triangle that's over here. Always go to the x-axis, drop down to the x-axis. Drop down to the origin, I mean your diagonal, your hypotenuse, but this one always down this way. Don't go this way. All right, so again, this point is going to give you your x and your y. It's giving you 2 of them. Okay, so remember the steps. Go through the steps, plot the point, draw the triangle, which I did, label the angle, which I did, label the sides, which I did. Okay. And now I got to use the Pythagorean theorem because I need to find this missing side. I don't know what this is. Question mark. So find missing side. Find the hypotenuse. It'll always be the hypotenuse that's missing. Okay, so let me just draw this triangle over here, or we can see it there, right? And then again, if I have 2 sides of any right triangle, you use the Pythagorean theorem. And I put that in the steps, right? So that'll be what? A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Well, the sides are always the a and the b. The hypotenuse here is always going to be the c squared. So I got 5 squared plus -12 squared, right? A, b, this one's c, equals c squared. That's going to be what? 25 plus 144 equals c squared. That's going to be 169 equals c squared. Take the square root of both sides. You're going to get c is equal to, you really get plus and minus 13, but remember we're talking about a positive. A hypotenuse will always be positive, so it's just going to be 13. 169 is a perfect square root. When it's not, well, you simplify it or leave it as is. All right, so now I'm going to take this information here. I can draw my triangle here, or you can just put the 13 there. Either way. Yeah, I should have just put it there. Anyways, I know it's 13. Here's my angle. I know this is 5. And I know this is negative 12. Right? So I'll just go ahead and find the first three. You find the first three, you should know how to find the other three. How do I find trig ratios? Well, I got all the parts right here. Sine is so. Cosine is ka. Tangent is toa. So sine is so that's going to be O over H. Cosine is ka, that's going to be A over H. And tangent is going to be toa, it's going to be O over A. All right, remember soka toa. That's what's going to help you remember how to do the ratios, right? They call them ratios, or they call them functions. Anyways, oh, well, see, now you got to label your sides. Again, don't look at label your sides. Obviously, this is the hypotenuse. This one is the opposite. It's opposite of the angle. This is your adjacent. Label your sides. All right, so that means sine is going to have to be sine of theta is O, negative 12 over 13. Cosine is going to be what? Cosine of theta is going to be A, which is 5 over H, 13. And always check to reduce. If you can simplify, but not here. Last one. Tangent is opposite. Tangent of theta is O, negative 12 over A, 5. Okay. And then remember, once you got sine, cosine, tangent, you should know the other ones, right? Which one goes with sine? Cosecant, and it's the reciprocal. Which one goes with cosine is secant is the reciprocal, 13 over 5. Which one goes with tangent? Cotangent. It's the reciprocal. All right. That's it. I think in the book you got, on the book it's on like page 242. So look for chapter 4.3. All right, there it is.